राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदा नंदन व्रज जनवंदना यशोदा नंदन व्रज जनवंदना यमुना तीरावनचारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Brahma Madhur Gaudiya Sampradaya Acharya Guruvar ki Ananda Gaudiya Vaishnava Vrinda ki ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की बहुत प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. The verse, the board is not here yet. So anyways, if you all have your smartphones, those who today's verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, chapter 3, verse number 4 and 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayodhiraye Shrinvanta Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Rudiyantasta Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhrutsata Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। Maybe somebody can help her bring the sign here. Thank you. Right here, please. Thank you. You may have to lift it from here a little bit. I think the plug came out. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, right here. Next to me. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Serving Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, verse number 4. Kakodamino avidhana shodamitva Swayam varenagajitim uvaha tad bhagavana manamapi gridya to jnanam jageshata shastra brita sasastra. It's a different meter. Kakodamino avidhana shodamitya Swayam varenagajita muvaha tat bhagvanam api gridyato jnanan jaghe ashata shastra bhritaha swasastre. Kakudmino avidhana sodamitya Swayam varenagna jitim uvaha tad bhagvanamanam apigrayato jnana jagne ashataha shastra bhritaha swasastre. Kukudmino viddha nasodamitva Swayamvare Nagajitam Tad Bhagwanana Abhigritya Jnana Jagne Shataha Shastra Britaha Swasastre. Any Matajis? Ladies? Kakudmino Avidana Sodamitva Swayamvare Nagajitim Uvaha Tad Bhagwanamanam Apigruhyat Jnanam Jagne Shata Shastra Bhulta Swasastre. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Shri Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ji Ki Jai. Kindly repeat. Ka kud minaha. Bulls. With the nasaha. Whose noses were not pierced. Kamitva. Subduing. Swayamvare. In the open competition to select the bridegroom. Nagnajita, Princess Nagnijiti, Uvaha, married. Tad Bhagwana Mananam. In that way, all who are disappointed, api, even though, gridyataha, wanted, agyan, the fools, jagne, killed and wounded, ashataha, without being wounded, shastra britaha, equipped with all weapons, swasastre, by his own weapons. Translation by His Divine Grace Shri Prabhupada Ji Ki Jai. By subduing 7 bulls whose noses were not pierced, the Lord achieved the hand of Princess Nagnijiti in the open competition to select her bridegroom. Although the Lord was victorious, his competitors asked the hand of the princess, and thus there was a fight. Well equipped with weapons, the Lord killed or wounded all of them, but he himself was not hurt. This does not have a purport, so we will move on to the next text. Children, please keep quiet. Thank you so much. If they are not able to, then maybe you can take them outside. Thank you. Priyam Prabhur Gramya Iva Priyaya Vidistuste Archada Drutramayat Arthe Vajri Adraratam Sagano Rushandaha Krida Mrugam Nunam Ayam Vadinam. Translation. Just to please his dear wife, the Lord brought back the Parijat tree from heaven, just as an ordinary husband would do. But Indra, the king of heaven, induced by his wives, handpacked as he was, ran after the Lord with full force to fight him. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The Lord once went to the heavenly planet to present an earring to Aditi, the mother of the demigods, and his wife Satyabhama also went with him. This is a special flowering tree called the Parijat, which grows only in the heavenly planets, and Satyabhama wanted this tree. Just to please his wife, like an ordinary husband, the Lord brought back the tree, and this enraged Vajri, or the controller of thunderbolt, Indra. Indra's wife inspired him to run after the Lord to fight. And Indra, because he was a henpecked husband and also a fool, listened to them and dared to fight with Krishna. He was a fool on this occasion because he forgot that everything belongs to the Lord. There was no fault on the part of the Lord, even though he took away the tree from the heavenly kingdom. But because Indra was henpecked, dominated by his beautiful wives like Sachi, he became a fool, just as all persons who are dominated by their wives are generally foolish. Indra thought that Krishna was a henpecked husband who only by the will of his wife Satyabhama took away the property of heaven, and therefore he thought that Krishna could be punished. He forgot that the Lord is the proprietor of everything and cannot be henpecked. The Lord is fully independent. And by his will, only he can have hundreds and thousands of wives like Satyabhama. He was not therefore attached to Satyabhama because she was a beautiful wife, but he was pleased with her devotional service and thus wanted to reciprocate the unalloyed devotion of his devotee. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manoya Vishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Ritam Tam Sajivam Sadadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanaya Stadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasna Vrajavadhu Vargena Taya Kalpita Shrimad Bhagavata Purana Amalam Prema Pumartum Han Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Mataidam Nayatra Agram. Hare Krishna. So, these are the pastimes of Krishna continued in the conversation between Uddhav and Vidurji. And when Vidurji goes to Vrindavan, he meets Uddhav, a very good friend of Krishna, and he asks him some wonderful questions about the different pastimes of Krishna. And in this particular chapter, it starts with the killing of Kamsa, and then Krishna and Balram, they go to the Gurukul of Sandipani Muni. And after they learned all the Vedas, it was time for them to come back home, but they had to show some deep gratitude to their Guru. So what do we normally do? We give Guru Dakshina to the Guru. So knowing his capability, Krishna's capability, Sandipani Muni said that, my son is dead. He went into the waters, deep waters, and he never came back. So can you bring him back? So knowing that he is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, he asked for this favor in the sense that would be his Guru Dakshina. And Krishna very gladly went down into the deep waters and brought back the dead son from Yamraj. And that was his Guru Dakshina to his Guru Sandipani Muni. And then also, we saw previously in yesterday's verse, Krishna kidnaps Rukmini. Rukmini he actually had simply heard about the glories of Krishna. This is a very important point that we should all try to assimilate, that the darshan of Krishna, how do we see Krishna, is through the ears. Through the eyes, yes, but even more through Shravanam process, through the ears. Because when we hear from pure devotees like His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada and his sincere followers, or we read from his books as it is, then we are representing his divine grace, where the truth has been revealed uh, to the utmost extent and as it is. So similarly, she had heard from a bona fide source about Krishna's beauty, about Krishna's fame, Krishna's, and that way she fell in love without even seeing him. And nowadays we see that, people go online, try to find their life partner, and they want to see a photo and they want to see the resume, all the 9 yards. And if they are, in India, even if there's some arranged marriages, they still need to meet each other. They come to the house, and then the mother will ask the daughter, do you like him? What do you think? Shall we move forward? And vice versa. The boy will be asked by the parents, what do you think about this girl? So like that. But can you imagine falling in love with somebody without even seeing? So that seeing was done through the ears. Rukmini Devi fell in love with Krishna. And Krishna, eventually, she was going to be forcefully married to Shishupal. And then she said that I will wait as many lifetimes if I have to, if you don't come to get me. And she wrote a wonderful letter, a wonderful love letter that was sent through a Brahmin. And when Krishna read it, she sent the instructions. My dear Krishna, I will be going to the Devi temple, on the day of the wedding. I'm going to get married. And that is the best time. Because when you try to come in the palace, there's a lot of security and they'll find out. So the best way is when I go to the temple, you can kidnap me. So everything about Krishna is very sweet, even his kidnapping. Anybody has heard the Madhura Ashtakam of Sri Vallabhacharya? Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram madhuradipate rakhilam madhuram haranam madhuram taranam madhuram madhuradipate rakhilam madhuram. Krishna's everything that he does is sweet. Madhuram. Haranam madhuram. Even his kidnapping is madhuram, is very sweet. Taranam madhuram. When he delivers the fallen souls, that is also very sweet. So he comes and kidnaps Rukmini Devi and takes him to Dwarka. And there's, of course, a battle. They don't give up easily. Now, similarly, if you all know, Krishna had 16,108 wives, queens in Dwarka. And he married many, many different queens, different princesses. So in this particular verse, number 4, that we are displayed on the board, he actually goes to, before marrying this Satya, or she is also known as Nagnajiti, he married Kalindi, which is Yamuna Devi. Yes. So Yamuna is one of the consorts of Krishna, even in Vrindavan and otherwise, the eternal consort, Mitravinda and Rukmini. And then he marries Satya or Nagnajiti, which is in this particular verse that is displayed on the board. Nagnajiti is an incarnation of Neela Devi, or she is also an incarnation of Lakshmi Devi. So in Vrindavan, it is Sri Radha, and her expansions are the gopis. But in Mathura and Dwarka, the expansions of Radharani's are the Lakshmi Devis. So she is one of the Lakshmis, and she is daughter of King Nagnajit of Koshal. And Koshal is the place where Queen Kaushalya comes from. In the Ramayana, the mother of Lord Ramachandra, therefore she is known as Kaushalya, because she was the daughter of the king of Koshal. So he, who seems to be very close, some of the Alvars, Prabhupada mentions, who are the Alvars? They were the South Indian Raja Rishis, the kings in South India. One of the Alvars, most famous, Prabhupada has written the book, actually it's behind me, Mukundamala Stotra. So that Alvar, he composed wonderful prayers Krishna conscious kings. So the Alvars, they also wrote wonderful Krishna conscious poems. So they mention about this in Tamil. Nappinal, she is non-different from Neela Devi or Lakshmi Ji or Satya in this case. So Nagnajit was a very pious king, and he followed all the Vedic scriptures with great devotion, and he had set the condition for the marriage of Satya, Swayamvar, just like the condition that Janak Maharaj had set forth to have the hand of Sita Devi was whoever could lift the bow of Lord Shiva and string it, then they would win the hand of Sita Devi, of Janaki. So here the condition was that whosoever could actually, he had 7 very vicious bulls, and they were not controlled. A controlled bull or a horse is when, what is it called in English? When a horse is broken, when they break the horse. We see that in many, many ranches or farms. What they do is when the horse is born, and then from the calf it grows to a full-fledged horse, then it has to be controlled. And they're pretty wild. And the ranchers, they know how to control them, to subdue them. And once they're able to saddle them and sit on them, that means they are fully controlled. But many a time before they are saddled, many a times they fall down, they break their bones. It's very hard sometimes to control many horses. Similarly, bulls are even more stronger than horses. And upon hearing this challenge for the Swayamvar, Krishna set out for the kingdom of Koshal with a large retinue with his ministers, because Krishna in Dwarka is a big, huge king. He is an emperor. So he has got ministers and soldiers, etc. And King Nagnajit, when he saw Krishna, he came, he honored him and welcomed Krishna with many gifts. And Nagnajiti, the daughter of King Nagnajit, was very joyful to see Krishna and prayed that Krishna be her husband. It is so similar to Sita Devi. When Sita Devi saw Lord Rama, when he just arrived along with Vishwamitra Muni, when they came in the assembly of Janak Raja, in the Swayamvar assembly, Sita Mata from her veil and her sidelong glances saw Lord Ramachandra, and immediately she was captivated by Lord Ramachandra, and she was in the heart of hearts praying that I hope that he is the one who will take my hand and he will be the winner of the Swayamvar. Similarly, Nagnajiti was feeling the same way. So Nagnajiti was so joyful and she prayed like that. Nagnajiti also asked Nagnajit king asked the purpose of Krishna's visit, because he knew that he is the Supreme Lord. So Krishna declared that he wished to marry his daughter Satya, meaning it's another name for Nagnajiti. So Satya, so the kings stated that there would be no better husband for his daughter, but he had taken a vow. What was the vow? That, that whoever will take his daughter would have to subdue these 7 bulls. And that is the reason he requested Krishna, please, I hope you understand. I cannot refuse you, but this is the vow that I have taken for my daughter. So he had taken this vow, and whoever would do it. So he knew in the heart of hearts, and even Nagnajiti knew, or Satya knew, that Krishna would subdue the bulls. Sri Prabhupada mentions in Krishna book, in chapter 58, upon listening the king, Krishna entered the arena, expanding into 7 forms. So those 7 forms were identical. So we learned that I spoke on Balram Jayanti. There are different forms of the Lord. When they're identical, they are known as the Swayam Prakash. Just like the Swayam Prakash of Krishna, a perfect example is when he performed the Ras Leela in Vrindaban. And all of his identical forms were with the different gopis. So he also has the same thing in Dwarka, where he expands himself identical into 16,108 forms. And here also he shows his opulence by expanding himself expanding himself into 7 because he had to deal with 7 bulls. So it is said that who do these 7 bulls represent? And Krishna subdued them. And what did he do? He, by submission of the bulls, that means he strung their noses with a rope. Just like when the ranchers were able to saddle and put the reins in the horse's mouth, similarly, a bull is guided by the nose. They put a nose, if you have observed, they put a rope in their nose. So Krishna was able to subdue. So it is said that by the wise people, who those 7 bulls represent. How does Krishna subdue? So that submission is when the human form of life happens in the womb of the mother, the garbha, then the janma, the birth, then the balya, the childhood, then the kaumarya, the youth, the stage just before the youth. Yavana is the youth, jara, old age, and maranam, the death. So all these are controlled by Krishna. So these are the 7 are the representations. And those bulls had very, very vicious horns, 2 horns, and those 2 horns represent sukh and dukkha, happiness and distress. So that is also controlled by Krishna. Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written in his bhajan, Tumi Sarveshwareshwara Vrajendra Kumara. You are the controller of all the controllers in this universe. Tumi Sarveshwareshwara Vrajendra Kumar. Tumar Ichhaye Brahma Kore na Srijan, Tumar Ichhaye Shiv Kore na Samhar, Tumar Ichhaye Vishnu Kore na Palan. Lord Brahma creates by your Ichha, by your desire, and Lord Shiva causes the dissolution by your desire, and Lord Vishnu, he maintains this material worlds. So when he subdued these bulls, the marriage was celebrated with great pomp and grandeur, and King Nagnajiti gave in dowry 9,000 elephants, and 100 times of that 900,000 chariots, and 100 times more was 90 million horses, and 100 times more was 9 billion servants. Now that is an amazing number. So we can see in Bharatvarsh, those kings were so opulent at that time. This is from Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book. And that's a humongous number of gifts in the form of a dowry. Obviously, dowry is condemned nowadays in India, but back then it was more of showing gratitude to the son-in-law, and the father would actually beg them to take it, and out of honor they would take it. Here nowadays in India, it is a crime to take dowry because they demand it. And if the wife's family cannot give it, sometimes very, very bad things happen to the wife. They either send her back, and even worse is they beat her up. Some cases in India, they burn her, they threaten to do that. So that is not what the Vedic system is. It is very voluntary. Just like, you take it, please, the rest of your life you will be staying and with your new family, and I want you to be very happy, my dear daughter and my dear son-in-law. Please, I beg you, accept it. That is how the father and the family would plead to them. It is not that it was demanded, never demanded. It is something which was voluntary, just as a side note. So finally, Krishna and Satya, or Nagnajiti, arrived in Dwarka, accompanied by a huge army, the same army that accompanied Krishna. And on the way, they were attacked by all those princes who lost her hand. So they were very envious. Just like Ravan, when he came to Sita Swayamvar. And along with many other princes that were there, they were wishing, they could not even move the bow, even an iota. Even the great Ravana, who had the strength, who had the blessings of Lord Shiva, The bow was Lord Shiva, but he could not, and they were also envious. And that is one of the reasons Sita was so beautiful that Ravan eventually kidnapped her through trickery. And we know the rest is history. So they all fought with Krishna, and Krishna defeated them. And Krishna had all the Yadus, warriors from his dynasty, and Arjun. Arjun was also present in that war when all those princes who could not get Princess Satya, they attacked Krishna. So moving on to the next verse, there was no purport about just to please his dear wife, Lord Krishna brought back the Parijat tree from heaven, just as an ordinary husband would do. But Indra, the king of heaven, induced by his wives, who Indra was henpecked, Prabhupada mentions that, ran after the Lord with full force to fight him. So here is, Parijat is a very, very beautiful flower that only existed in the third Swarga, or in the third heaven. There are 6 heavens: Bhur, Bhuva, Swahar, Mahar, Jana, Tapa, and Satya Loka, or Brahma Loka. Brahma Loka is the highest. So the third Swarga, where Lord Indra resides, is the one where the Parijat tree was the exclusive place where it would grow. Like sometimes we find that certain flora and fauna only grow in certain regions of the world. Very, very special, no other place. So this Parijat tree was very special, very fragrant. And Krishna actually accompanied Satyabhama, one of his wives, to the heavenly planet, which is the third one, where Lord Indra resides. And he wanted to show his gratitude to Aditi, the mother of all the demigods, by giving her some gifts, some earrings. And there, when Satyabhama, the queen Satyabhama, saw the Parijat tree, she actually was so captivated, and so she requested her husband, can you bring this with us to Dwarka? So when Krishna picked that tree up, Indra's wife, here the word is used, Vajri. Vajri means one who actually uses or carries Vajra, lightning. And that is Indra's weapon. Indra is in charge of the rains. And when we see there is thundering, and we see some lightning, that is Indra's Vajra, the lightning bolt. So he's also known as Vajri. That's the word that has been used in this particular verse. So Indra's wife told him, hey, what do you think these people are doing? They're taking our only Parijat tree here. You should take it back, grab it back. If you have to fight, fight. So Indra, he went to fight with Krishna because he was henpecked, as Prabhupada mentions, and also a fool. That's what's mentioned here in the Shastras. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Avajananti Mamamuda. What is that verse? Avajananti Mamamuda Manusham Tanu Ashritam. Yes. So those who think that I am a regular human being, they do not know. They are fools. They are rascals. They do not know. And also, Krishna says that actually Vyasdev, in the very first verse of SHRIMADA BHAGAVATAM, Om Janmadi Yasya Yato Anvayad Itartascha Artheshwa Vigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya. Muhyanti. Even the greatest of the Devis and Devatas, the demigods, are perplexed. They do not understand Krishna fully. They are perplexed. And so similarly, he was perplexed. Prabhupada mentions in his purport that he was a fool on this occasion because he forgot that everything belongs to Krishna. So this is a very, very important philosophical point and the absolute truth, that everything belongs to Krishna. In the Upanishad, it says, Isha Vasam Idam Sarvam. Everything belongs to Sri Krishna. So we have to offer it to him. Although he has given it to us, the best use of anything is to offer. Offering Krishna means we become karmic free. So if we are taking food every day, we must offer it to Krishna. When we offer it, it becomes prasad. If we bring some new clothing, some jewelry, offer it to the Krishna, the temple in our home, or in the temple, bring it and, dear Pujari ji, can you first offer it to Krishna? That should be the bhav, because it belongs to you. So whether it is a nice piece of clothing, or it is jewelry, or anything, or a car, some people do puja and all these things, they offer it first to Krishna and they accept it as prasad. Otherwise, we will incur karmic reaction. But once it is prasad, it is transcendental. It doesn't incur karmic reaction. So Indra was also thinking that, Satyabhama, Queen Satyabhama says, get this tree. And he went to get it. So he's also thinking, just like his mentality, that Krishna is also henpecked. Krishna is also a henpecked husband. But only by the will of his wife Satyabhama, because Satyabhama desired, he took away the property of heaven. How can Krishna do that? And therefore he thought that Krishna should be punished. He's justified his action of attacking Krishna. So obviously Krishna defeated Indra. He forgot that the Lord is the proprietor of everything and cannot be henpecked. And also the Lord is fully independent. The word in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam also is Abhigya and Swara. Abhigya means he knows everything. He's cognizant about everything, Krishna. And he's Swarat. He's fully independent. He's not dependent on anybody. This is a very, very important quality. And because we are his part and parcels, we are very minute, infinitesimal. So we also have, we have all the qualities of Krishna in a very atomic way. So because Krishna is fully independent, we also have independence, but that is minute independence. And that decides our fate. Whether bad karma, good karma, pious activities, sinful activities, or bhakti. Krishna doesn't force anybody. So all of you came to the temple today, you're spending your time rather than going on a picnic or an outing, you decided to come to the dham. So you have used your minded independence correctly for serving Krishna through Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam, etc. So that is the proper use of minded independence, is to become Krishna conscious. So the Prabhupada gives a wonderful reason that it appears that Krishna was henpecked by his wife Satyabhama. Satyabhama Mata said, I like that tree, can you get it? And Krishna immediately went and got that Parija tree. But Srila Prabhupada says, because he was pleased with her bhakti, with her devotional service, Krishna wanted to reciprocate her unalloyed devotion. So this is what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita also. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tamsa tathaiva bhajamiham. The way one worships me, I reciprocate with those devotees like that, or with those persons. So if somebody doesn't want to believe in Krishna, if somebody doesn't want to believe in God and they are atheists, Krishna also reciprocates with them. How? Through Maya, through his energy, external energy. So Maya keeps them in delusion, illusion, for unbelievable number of births, until they come to that understanding that Vasudev Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlam, until they come to that understanding by the mercy of some Vaishnavas. And of course, those who reciprocate with him directly, understanding his superior position, then Krishna reciprocates in a different way. So, according to the capacity of the devotee, Krishna also reciprocates. But one place that I would like to mention here, that the only place this verse kind of doesn't apply, or it fails in one sense. Ye yatha mam prapadde tamsa tathaiva bhajamiham. I reciprocate with those who worship according to the worship. I reciprocate accordingly. He fails in Vrindavan. He cannot reciprocate enough with the love that has been displayed by the gopis of Vrindavan, especially Srimati Radharani. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna mentions. He says, Na paraye aham nirvedya samyujam swasadhu krityam vibhutayu sapi vaha ya ma bhajam durjar geha shrin kalaha samvrishya tadvaha pratiyatu sadhuna. Particular word here to concentrate on is swasadhu krityam. I cannot properly compensate you, my dear gopis, my dear Radharani. I'm not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within the lifetime of Lord Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach, and you have worshipped me, cutting off all ties, domestic ties, which are very difficult to break. Now, is it not true? Supposing if somebody, a saintly person, tells us, leave everything, join the temple, leave your family, leave your children, leave all your domestic ties. Is it easy to do so? No. Very difficult. Sometimes some people have tried it and then they go back home. Some people have even tried the ashrams like Vanaprastha and even sannyas, and even from that position, they have, reversed themselves, going back into the grihastha life. So Krishna acknowledged that to give up all your family, your children, etc. In the Gopi Gita, there's a wonderful verse in 10th canto, chapter number 31 or 32. I think it's the 16th verse. Pati suna sutanvaya Brandar Bandhavan, Bratar Bandhavan, Ati Vilangyate, Anti Achut Gata, Gati Vidastavot, Gita Mohita, Kitavayo Shita Kastajen Nishi. In the 17 verses of the Gopi Gita, this particular verse is heart-rending. The gopis in search of Krishna, they are crying and they are saying that, dear Achyut, O Krishna, O infallible one, you know very well why we have come here. But you have been a cheater. You cheated us. You're the cheater like you, Kitava Yoshita, a cheater like you would abandon young women who came to see you in the middle of the night. Oh Krishna, you're so cruel. Enchanted by the loud sound of your flute, the Venu Geet, we came running just to see you. And we completely rejected our husbands, our children, ancestors, brothers, and even our relatives. Pati Sutan Vaya Bhratar Bandhavan. So, making Krishna feel guilty, and then Krishna appears finally again in front of them. So the gopis, the Krishna is saying, therefore, what is your compensation? I cannot compensate you, but let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. I'll repeat that again. Let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. And that is the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. His internal reason was, Yadi gaur na hoito, tabe ki hoito, ke mone dharitam de, Radhar mahima, prema rasa sima, jagata janata ke. Vasu Ghosh, one of the very intimate associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he writes this song. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have not come, Yadi gaur na hoito, tabe ki hoito, what would have happened? Radhara Mahima, the glories of Radharani, Radhara Mahima Prema Rasha Sima, and the zenith of her Prema, how would this world have known? Jagata Janata Ke, Jadi Gaur na hoito. So, Krishna himself came down to sing the glories of Radharani, because her own glorious deeds are her compensation. Krishna could compensate everybody else in Dwarka, including his queens. He compensated Queen Rukmini just by her letter. He agreed to kidnap her. He compensated, the different devotees all over the creation, but except in Vrindavan, it is not possible for him to compensate the Vrajvasis. And we are so fortunate to be in this ISKCON movement that is very much so the Gaudiya branch in the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the highly elevated bhakti that we can get if we follow his divine grace very strictly. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. All glories to his divine grace. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. So we started a little late, the class. We still can take about any questions, maybe 2-3 minutes, or comments or any corrections, please. If anybody has, the microphone is right here. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any comments or questions or doubts or clarifications? Please feel free to ask.
Thank you very much for the wonderful class.
Hare Krishna. All glories to his divine grace, Prabhupada. All glories to Shri Gurudev.
I was just thinking for this very interesting how it's kind of the war of the impact does this.
Yes.
But then actually Krishna may seem like an impact, but actually is a different motivation.
Yes.
Right? But Indra seems like he's actually obliged,
Yes. Yes. So Prabhu made a wonderful statement. Yes, that Krishna appears to be an impact husband, but he's not. Whereas Indra is, because looking at the beauty of Sachi, that was the sense gratification. The Krishna did not look at the beauty of Satyabhama Devi. He looked at the devotion. Just like Krishna did not look at the Kuru or the non-beauty of Kubja. Kubja was very ugly. If you really look at her, she was bent in so many different places. She had a hunchback. But Krishna looked at her devotion. And what did she just do? She offered him some sandalwood paste that was meant for Kansa. But seeing Krishna, she offered, and Krishna fulfilled her desire. So Krishna doesn't look if we are beautiful, handsome, if we have money, we don't have money. He doesn't look at those things. He looks at our devotion, our bhakti. That's what he is conquered by. In that Damodar Ashtakam, there is a verse. What is that? That he says, Idriksa Leela Vir Ananda Kunde Swagosha Nimanjantam Akhyapayantam Tadi Yeshid Arneshur Bhaktair Jitatvam Puna Premastam Shatavruti Vande. You can conquer Krishna by bhakti. Krishna himself is telling Sanatan Goswami this, that, oh, you Vaikundvasis, oh, you persons who are devotees who are worshipping me in opulence, please look at these Vrajvasis and see what their bhav or their bhakti is. And I can be conquered by pure devotion. So, thank you again. Thank you all who have attended even on online, on the Zoom call. And wishing you all a very, very wonderful Krishna conscious day, Krishna conscious week, Krishna conscious month, and especially Krishna conscious Janmashtami week that is coming up next week. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Satchitananda Dasa.
Srila Prabhupada Gurudev ki Jai. If somebody wants to proceed for prasadam, that's fine. I would like to open up the microphone in case if somebody would like to ask a question online, just to be fair. So if there's somebody who would like to ask a question online, you may do so, please. You may unmute. Is there somebody who would like to ask a question online? Or any comments? You can unmute yourself. Hare Krishna.
Um,
Yeah, speak a little loudly.
I have a question. This is just regarding, personal human nature and connecting it to the Gita. Oftentimes we feel sad and alone in the physical material worlds. And I know he is always with us.
Yes.
And he's always present with us. How can we keep that energy and know that he is always with us and have that sense of happiness? As you know, moods and emotions are always fleeting.
Okay.
But if you can do a little quote from the Gita or give
sure.
some
To add on to that, sometimes like you're like something whether you're like heading in the right direction or not, is this the right thing? So like how do you actually like not get swayed by Maya, as you mentioned?
Okay.
Yeah. Keep like that happiness.
Yes. So the first question, somebody from the audience here is one devotee, two devotees are asking a question. The first one is that how do you know that you're not alone? Right?
Yeah.
Krishna is always with you.
Yes.
And the second question was, how do you keep that firm faith and not slide or succumb to Maya? So the answer is very simple to the first part. Naradji says that, when his mother passed away, he was only 5 years old approximately. And he had no father. We don't know who his father is. Mother was a single mother at that time. And when she went out in the field one morning, a cobra snake, a poisonous snake, bit her and she passed away. Now, Naradji, apparently we can see that the child, nobody, he's all alone, right? We feel that way. But when he went for self-realization into the forest, and there he saw a glimpse of Krishna in the form of Paramatma Vishnu. And then he realized that he are never alone. So that's one thing that we can always remember. No matter, nobody's there, but he always goes with us. He's Surut Sarva Bhutanam. From Bhagavad Gita, I'm quoting that Bhuktaram Sarva Yagya Tapasyam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Surut Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shanti Richati. One can attain true peace without being fearful or without thinking of so many other things, getting confused. If one simply understand that Krishna is the enjoyer of everything in this world, Bhoktaram Sarva Yagya Tapasya, because everything belongs to him. Sarva Loka Maheshwar, he is the Lord and Master of all the creation. But at the same time, he is Surut Sarva Bhutana. He is the friend of all. And what is that proverb we say in English? A friend in need is a friend indeed. So sometimes we find that many friends, when we have a party or some social gathering, many people come. But when you really need somebody, the test is when that friend is present.
Yes.
So there is no other friend in this entire creation like Krishna, because no matter where we are, he is traveling with us in our hearts, whether we are in an ant's body, worm's body, based on our karma, in a human body, he's always going with us. He's traveling with us. So we are never alone to begin with. In the Katha Upanishad, it is said that there are two birds sitting on one branch, Atma and Paramatma. So Atma is us, the soul, and Paramatma is the incarnation of Krishna. He is one of the expansions of Krishna, an expansion of actually Shirodaksai Vishnu, who is an expansion. There's a whole hierarchy how Krishna expands. But in other words, he has never left us alone. And sometimes if we are very careful, if we are at peace, real peace, we can hear what our Paramatma guides. Sometimes we want to do something wrong or we are not sure. Then the inner voice tells us, do this, if we are ready to listen. Just like in a temple hall, sometimes we have so many people talking, right? And you cannot hear properly, not the kirtan, not the katha. So even in our mind, in our hearts, we have so much confusion going on, so many thoughts, and we are talking and talking and talking and talking. So then we cannot hear our eternal friend Krishna. But how to hear him is we have to go through the proper process of chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. When we do that sincerely, we follow the four regulative principles. We associate with devotees. We do Archana Paddhiti at home. And whenever we get time, we go to the different dhams, to the tirthas, and read Srimad Bhagavatam, books like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. That is the recommendation by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his sincere followers. So then we will get those sfurtis. Sfurti means that inner vision. It will be given to us. It will come to us. And when we are in distress, our friend Krishna as Paramatma will always guide us. All we have to do is, just turn to him. Nobody listened to Draupadi when she was in the middle. Not even her husbands, not even the powerful Bhim, when she was derobed by Dusashan. So what did she do? She simply called out to Krishna. Now, Krishna was not physically present at that moment, but the Paramatma in her heart immediately manifest Krishna. And he came down to save her. So I hope that answers your part of the question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hari Bol. And your question, how do we know?
It's like, how do you keep like the firm faith and not get swayed?
Yeah, how do we keep firm faith and not get swayed by Maya? So that requires also sadhana. Whatever I told her, that we have to associate with devotees, chant the holy name nicely. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Sit in a secluded place, if possible, without disturbance. And best is to chant early in the morning. You have to try. But of course, there are no rules and regulations for chanting the holy name. But, the more just like a student who wants to be very successful, then he works very hard. He or she, right? Sleeps less, right? Doesn't go to the movies, doesn't go to the mall. If the friend calls, he says, you know what, I have to study. I have a paper coming up. And he's completely engrossed. His vision is complete concentration on his subject. So similarly, we are students of spirituality. So if we are very serious students, then we have to read his Divine Graces books. That's the map. And when we do that, we are protected when we chant the holy name. Maya cannot touch it. Krishna says that Mam prapadyante Maya tarantite in Bhagavad Gita. You wanted a reference. So those who surrender unto me, they are able to cross over Maya. Maya cannot touch them. So the difficult part, it's the easy part to say it, but the difficult part is the surrender. And surrender doesn't come overnight because of our anadikal, our conditioning from time immemorial. That surrender doesn't come so easily, but it is a process. Just like Prabhupada used to say that, that when a newly married couple, they're excited and they want a child, right? Everybody in the family, they want a child, but they have to wait minimum 9 months. They have to be patient, right? Minimum 9 months they have to wait. So that's why Rupa Goswami says, Utsaha, Dhairya, Nischaya, that we have to have that enthusiasm. Dhairya, we have to have that patience, and Nischaya, we should be determined. So all these three go hand in glove. It's a combination. And never be discouraged. In the times of discouragement, talk to a devotee. Open Prabhupada's books. Sometimes you open any page and you will get the answer. That's so amazing because Paramatma notes your distress and he wants to talk to you. And sometimes he talks through the devotees. Sometimes it really happens that you have a question, yes, and somebody just comes and give you the answer, or you open Srila Prabhupada's books and you see that, oh, I was just thinking about it. It may not happen instantly, but maybe in the next few moments or the next day or the next few days. So that is how Krishna reciprocates to the sincere devotees. Our desire should be very sincere. Huh?
You're not only that. That's the Maya coming through.
Yeah.
That's the distractions coming through.
So again, another reference from Bhagavad Gita. You wanted Abhyasena Yogena. Abhyas means one has to practice. So nothing comes so easy. You went to school, college, got your graduation or post-graduation or whatever. What can I ask you? What is your?
Yes, I'm going to 12th grade.
What are you finished?
I'm going to 12th grade.
You're going to 12th grade. So what is easy coming to the 12th grade? Now you have to study all the way from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade, right? And further as you go, undergrad, grad, masters, PhD. It's not easy. So what to do? This is, yeah. So I hope I was able to satisfy your query.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. She can give you. You can give her the link for Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group. Yeah, you can exchange WhatsApp with her. She is my good wife. Hare Krishna. So I think what I will do is, if it's a personal question, this is being recorded. I'm on Zoom right now. So if you can be one patient, I want to just open up the microphone for anybody else that would like to ask a question on Zoom before I wind up today's session. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody on the Zoom call that would like to, those who attended today's class? Any questions or any comments? You can unmute yourself. So, yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Acharya Nidhi Prabhu, Danvat Pranams.
Very nice class, very nice explanation. I appreciate your time and efforts to Danvat Pranam. All good, Shishla Prabhupada. Thanks.
Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your blessings. Hare Krishna. Yes. So, thank you all. Next, Nandpran Prabhu, Danvat Pranam.
Dandvat Pranam, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thanks for such a nice explanation. And I fully endorse the view that Krishna reciprocates fully to those who are very sincere devotees. We have got those answers in our life again and again.
Yes, Prabhu. Sincerity is the purpose. Srila Prabhupada said
Yes.
that. That is what our purpose should be.
Yes.
Even we have many faults in us. If we are sincere, Krishna recognizes that. So that's the kripa of Krishna. That's the beauty of Krishna. So thank you, everybody. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gaurang ki Jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, Om Baba, Dandvat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Shishi Guru Gaurang ki Jai. Good to see you.
आपको भी बहुत अति मजा आया देख से
Hare Krishna. And we will meet soon next week. You're coming, right? Of course you are coming.
आप भी कितने दिन के लिए रह रहे?
I am here till Radha Ashtami, beta.
वो तो बहुत दिन है.
Yes, Radha Vrindavan Chandra is very merciful. The devotees are merciful. I'm getting some seva, so I will continue.
अच्छा, तो माता जी को भी मेरा दंडवत भेज देना.
Jarur. Okay, beta. And Hare Krishna. I will call you sometime today. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.